Well, good evening, everyone. I hope you're having a fantastic week so far. I just wanted to go over a trade recap on the pound yen that really worked out pretty nicely this week. Simple analysis, simple basic analysis I did with a student in one of his boot camp sessions this week. Went ahead and saved this trade idea as we were talking through it, and it just rolled over spectacularly today. So took a little bit of messy chop yesterday to kind of finally make that decision to roll over today, and that ended up being take profits on this. I ended up taking it down to essentially this test of this trend line here, this bottom kind of channel trend line, and it just blew right through that shortly thereafter. But I do have one partial position still open, so that's running nicely. Initially, we got about 4-to-1 or so on that. For the majority of my position, I took about 70% off. So I'm just trailing the rest. You know, never know when GJ is going to really make a run for it. So the other half is break even, or the other portion is break even. So I'm just going to trail that as long as I can based off of structure and just let it take me out where it does. So the general idea on this came from the daily chart, and I just simply highlighted a clear value area, I guess you could call it, or support and resistance zone, or change control zone, or role reversal level zone. There's so many different names that you can identify this. Just a simple support and resistance, more or less, is the common term. And you can visually see that resistance here, and then the support, and then it chops around a little bit, but as a whole, this is a hot area on the chart. This 147 to 149, 150 area. So as price came up in there the other day, or recently in the past couple weeks, really, we put in a double top. And you can visualize that double top, just marking off the high here. We punched through it a few times, a couple times, but we were really never able to close above our initial high here. And once we put that in, it just became a waiting game, because in an uptrend, if you are looking in an uptrend, you identify an uptrend, you get your directional bias. There's essentially three things that can happen once price pulls back. Once we go to push up, we can either put in a lower high, we can put in a double top or an equal high, or we can put in a higher high. Those are really the only three options that we have in this situation. So once I saw the initial double top, it just became a waiting game then. So that's when you begin to do your analysis, find your initial structure, see if there's any hint or any indication of an initial trend reversal. That initial trend reversal came in the form of breaking this initial trend line, and in doing so, if you identify your key levels here, we have a high point and then we have a low point, and once we broke and closed below this, then we have something of interest. And in that case, we have essentially an initial trend shift. You have your initial structure high, pull back into your initial structure low right here, outside return, new structure low. Okay, so now that 1, 2, 3, 4 punch gives us an early indication that be on alert. We may be looking for a trend continuation trade or a trend reversal trade in this case. So we get a quick pullback, retest that trend line as well as this here. And my entry was just right around 148. I think 147.98 was the technical entry or the exact entry. Pretty tight stop, 30 pips on this. I didn't really want it to, go too far against me. So I think I actually maybe had a 32 pip stop. And then 146.80 was where I took the brunt of my position off. And you can see it just pushed through nicely. That was a little bit over 3 to 1. And I took it off as price was coming down and testing this lower channel bottom here. Nothing to say that that wouldn't hold and this thing would skyrocket. So I just wanted to get a quick base hit on GJ. But as you can see, this is a major area, and we've really dumped historically from this area pretty significantly. So it wouldn't surprise me to see, more downside movement. That's why I left partial positions on. So I took roughly, I would say, between 50 and 70% of my overall position off, and grabbed, I think that ended up being a little, around 110 pips, 120 pips, somewhere around there. Current open position is somewhere around, I'd say, 100 and, let's see, does it tell me anywhere? I don't know. Do the math. But yeah, I mean, this thing could really just kind of roll. We never know with GJ. Now that we've made a clear lower low, what's next? Well, we need a lower high. This thing can't drop forever. So maybe a pullback up into structure, who knows? And then maybe continuation down. Maybe, this was the pullback in this overall larger structure. Up, down. Maybe, this is going to be kind of a higher low. Who knows? We have this trend line here. Maybe a little push down. And then finally find the support it needs to push up. Who knows? Only time will tell, especially with GJ. So decisions to be made here. It could go down, could go up. It's we just have to wait, kind of feel price out, and see where and how it reacts when it gets to some confluent levels. I hope this trade recap helped, and let me know if I can help you in any other way. Take care and God bless.